Hello, I'm Giles Darling and I write novels, plays and non-fiction books. In this video, I continue to show an example of how to create dozens of story ideas from a what-if moment. This follows the process outlined in my How to Create Story Ideas videos, which I include a link to below. So let's ask even more open-ended questions. Question 9. What is the trigger event for your story? Trigger events are what set your story in motion. They can be large-scale or small-scale, they can be intentional or accidental, well-meaning or malicious. They can be a reaction to something, and they can also be motivated by factors such as lust or romance, jealousy or revenge, greed or guilt. Let's look at some examples of trigger points for the Universal Basic Income or UBI what-if moment discussed in this series of videos. Large-scale examples include a change of government, societal pressure, or technological advances. Small-scale examples include someone falling on hard times, such as losing their job or a death in the family, so they become eligible for UBI for the first time. An example of an intentional and well-meaning trigger event could be someone buying their home thanks to UBI, while an accidental trigger event could be that person falling down the stairs in their new house. A malicious trigger event could be an interloper pushing our central character down the stairs. Maybe the interloper is a love rival, a jealous neighbour, or a greedy burglar. Do you have any examples of trigger events that could be used to tell a UBI story? If so, please feel free to add them to this video's comments below. Question 10. Why are you telling the story? Is your story driven by personal experience or by something that you've read about or seen on TV or online? Maybe your story is driven by frustration with the current state of the world, or is it your desire to see the world change? These can all form a powerful inspiration for writing a story. Or maybe you fear UBI and the changes that it could bring. If your interest is political, whether in favour of or against UBI, it's important to avoid making your story a platform from which you appear to preach your beliefs and opinions. This could deter your audience from enjoying your story. There are various ways to avoid appearing to preach. For example, you could make the UBI storyline into a subplot, maybe in a rom-com, a murder mystery, or an action-adventure. However, UBI must remain a key part of the story, a key tool to advance the plot. Otherwise, your audience might miss the UBI message altogether. Alternatively, you can use allegory to disguise your message. Allegory tells a story seemingly about one thing, while actually being about something different, usually not mentioned explicitly. It can be used in three ways. Firstly, you can replace UBI with something else. Secondly, you can substitute UBI for something else. And thirdly, you can swap UBI with something else. For the first two methods, the something else needs to be a limited resource which, at the start of your story, is distributed unequally. Examples could include the unfair allocation of parking spaces at a workplace, or a parent openly loving one child more than their other children. If these resources replace UBI in your story, you need to include some subtle references to UBI so that the reader or viewer doesn't miss the point of your story. Using the parking space example, maybe you could name the workplace so that its initials spell out UBI, and this could form the company's logo emblazoned on the side of their building, or on the wall behind the reception desk at the entrance to the company's offices. For the third method, the something else needs to be a resource which everyone shares equally. Examples include the air that we breathe, the number of hours in the day, or how gravity affects us. In real life, people experience these resources equally, while they are paid unequal salaries. In your story, you switch this around so that everyone receives the same UBI, but air, time, or gravity is allocated unequally. Maybe if you work harder, for example, your air is fresher. You somehow experience more hours in the day, so you can spend more time enjoying your hobbies, or gravity has less of a pull on you, so you can almost fly. Clearly, these stories cannot be based on reality. In fact, the more fantastical this type of story becomes, the greater impact it can have on your reader or viewer. However, when using this third type of allegory, it's vital that the characters in the story never question why, sticking with our examples, air, time or gravity is allocated unequally. For them, that is just how it is and how it has always been. Nor should your story trying to explain why money and air, money and time, or money and gravity have been swapped. The swapping isn't the story. The story is about the consequences of distributing air, time or gravity equally, and its impact on people's behaviour. These consequences should echo the consequences of UBI in real life. Can you think of examples of films, movies and novels that use allegory to disguise their message? Please feel free to add your suggestions to this video's comments below. Thank you for watching this video. Please feel free to use any of these story ideas for your own novels, plays, screenplays or TV scripts. No doubt you can think of many more open-ended questions. Please feel free to add them to this video's comments. If they're especially good, I might even use them myself. To see me create initial story ideas from these open-ended questions, please watch my next follow-up video. Please also check out the rest of my YouTube channel, especially where I discuss the various books that I've written. I hope my channel encourages you to buy my books and to read them if you haven't already done so. Finally, please feel free to leave comments below and to like and subscribe this video and my YouTube channel. Bye for now.